Yes. Once again, you are all welcome to today's class, academic writing and publication. Today is the section 6. We are on the 6th section. Those who just join us for today, please, you just catch up. We'll be able to help you if you have any challenge. Try to reach out and we'll be able to help you. But before that, I just want to have a quick recap on what we did last week. Last week, we looked at how to start from the beginning, how to put your paper together, how to sit down and write your paper. I think that's what we did last week, and we shared some techniques with us that we should be able to sit down, have groups where we can be accountable to, and we should use the tomatoes what techniques where we will use 25 minutes of concentrating on our writing. Yes, and most of the professors and doctors in the house shared deep insight on how we can do that better to improve our writing. But today we are going to look at how to find journal. Now that you have finished writing everything, where do I send my paper to, or where do I send my research paper? Where do I send it to? So finding the right home for your research. Today we'll be focusing on that. We'll be looking at how can I find a journal? How can I find the right place where I can send my communication or my idea which I've put on paper? How can I find them? It's very important. And today, basically, that's what we'll be looking at. And I'm sure this class will also be it will not take that much time, but we'll do more of practicals today. So please, those who are ready with their screen with good network, you can be in the standby mode. You'll share your screen with us and we'll take all together. Mm. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So today we are going to look at finding the right home for your journal. And we'll be considering three things in looking at this aspect. We'll be looking at choosing the right journal, not just any journal, but the right one. Then we'll be also looking at the open access and the subscription model. What does it mean when you are submitting to a journal where they have the open access and the subscription model? And we'll also be looking at the submission package. When you are submitting, what does it come with? What are the things that you need to consider before you go in to submit? Yeah, so let's move on to choosing the right journal. Yeah, so to choose the right journal, there are some few things you must pay close attention to when it comes to when you want to choose the right journal. Yes. One of the things you must look out for when you finish writing your paper and your paper is ready, your research article is ready, you must look out for the journals and read their aim and scope. Very important. Very important. Any journal you want to submit to, you must first look out for the first filter, or the first thing you must look out for is the scope and the aim to see if what you have written it matches with the journal you are thinking to submit to. You must look out for. So you go in there, read their scope, find out, filter all the journals that maybe suit your scope. So you must be specific. What specific research area does this journal focus on? You go to their research, you go to their aim. Okay, Dr. Pia, you're a pharmacy student. Okay, we'll address that. I can't seem to find any. Okay, we'll talk about this when the class and we'll address that for you. We'll help you out. Okay, so uh, you have to first look at the specific research area which the journal is focusing on. You have to look at that when you go online. You look for the journal. Okay, I've seen a journal, so and so. You must go to their aim and scope and see if their aim and scope tallies with the paper you have written or the research you have done. And if that happens, you must also look at the methodology preferences. So some journals are uh, uh, very specific on the kind of methods they want to receive in their journal. So you must check all those things out first to see if your paper is aligned with that before you start to. And some of them too are interdisciplinary, so they have both. They have indicators where they can accept a broad range of what papers. So you look at for all these things, and you also check the audience. What are the specific people these people are targeting, or what are their audience? So you check out for all those things. Yeah, there are some little things we do that traps us when we are choosing our journals, or it gets rejected so easily. Is that some of us we choose journals that their scope does not tally with our work. When you submit to such a journal, trust me, your paper is or your research is easily to be rejected right away without even going for it for peer review. Yes, because their scope is far different from your own. So you must be conscious of this and consider it before you try to submit your paper. The scope, the scope, the scope, the scope, the scope. And also you must check out for keywords, warning of sign of mismatch. So if you are going to look for a journal or you want to find a journal, you must look out for their keywords which are being published in their latest paper. Last time in Professor Bruce class, he shared deeply on this, that how to find a journal that tallies with you. He said you must look out for the keywords. You must read the latest paper which has been published, at least 5 of them. You must download 5 of the latest papers of them, compare their formats, look at how they use their method, the keywords they use, and the papers were accepted, and check and see if they align with your own. And before you make that decision or finally decide to say, okay, I have chosen this journal to send my research work to it. So these are some few things you must consider. Very important. You must consider all these things before you go ahead to submit your paper. Okay, what after that, what is the next thing you must look out for? Yes, now you have filtered out, you have seen the scope, you have seen everything. The next thing you can also consider when you are looking for a journal is the impact factor, the journal matrices. Yeah, so we call that one the journal matrices. Beyond just the impact factor, you must also consider a lot of things on that. Now you have find the journal, its scope tallies with your own, the keywords are good, the methodology is aligned with what you have now. The next thing you would like to consider with that journal before you submit should be the scope, the journal metrics. And the journal metrics, they have these things which are being projected on the screen here. We have the impact factor, we have the SJR, we have the S&P, we have the H index, and we have the site score. So we are going to explain each of them, then we understand what it means, then we'll move on to the next one. So the journal metrics is when you go to the page of each journal, most of them will display their matrices to tell you that, okay, the impact factor over 2 years is 1.5, is 2.5, is 3.5. Yes. So it simply means that it has been able to impact the world in that specific aspect. But we'll go into details, each of them. Now let's look at when we talk about oh, God help me. Okay. When we talk about the SJR simply means that I don't know if someone can type the full meaning of the SJR in the chat box. I'll be so much grateful. Before we move on, so that I'll be sure that we are all together. If you are with me, yes, are we together? Are we together? Hey, no one is typing. Oh, I'm just talking to myself. Ah, Dr. Irene, please, can I be heard? Yes. Someone has typed the scientific journal ranking. Okay, yes. Who again can type something for us? I would like to get more answers. There's no wrong answers here. We just want more of them. Okay, what it simply means is that you are going to when you see that scientific journal ranking or SIE okay, yes, so yeah, it means it's been confirmed. All of you are saying that. So when you see any value attached to that, it simply means that this journal has been cited, or all the papers which have been published in such a journal have been cited by high ranking journals. So the rank or the value which is attached to this figure or this scientific journal ranking means that there are a lot of high ranking journals who have cited papers from this specific one, or which their papers have been published in such journals and they have cited papers from this specific journal. I don't know if that makes sense to you. Yeah, so if we pick a journal of uh, academic writing, and it has maybe a SJR of maybe 2 or 3 or any value, it means that there are journals which are higher than the journal of academic writing, which papers which have been published in that journal have cited papers from this journal of academic writing. That's how it simply means. So it means it gives credibility to that journal. It means that, okay, journals who are higher than this have also cited papers from here. So that is what simply it gives you a clear view about that. Then when we look at that of the SNIP, yes, if someone can type the full meaning of that too in the chat box, I'll be so much grateful so that we can move together. SNIP. Yes, 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 yes. Are we together? Because I know there are a lot of scholars here. I'm waiting. Hey, until we type, I will not continue. We are 20 on the call right now, so until someone type, I will not continue. Okay, source normalize what? Impact what? Per paper. Yes, source normalize. Thank you so much. Impact per what? Paper. So it means that each paper, what has been the impact of it? Any value attached to it means that what has been the impact when this journal published paper, what has been the impact of that paper? That's just one paper per paper. They just look at how many papers have this, how many or what will be the journal or it ranks the impact of each paper which has been published in the journal. So when your paper is being published in that journal, what is the probability that or what impact do you think averagely it will be making? So this value gives you a clear view about what impact per paper is being made in that what journal. So that is what it also means. So you have to consider all those things to say, okay, this is good for me or this is not good for me. And the H index, what does the H index mean? The H index, the H index, the H index. Yes, yes, yes. So that one simply also, I think that one is clear enough to say H index. It also measures the productivity or the citation what impact, the productivity, how effective have been this journal been producing good papers across the years. Most of the time they'll tell you over 2 years, over 4 years. So they calculate it over a certain period of years. So basically that's how we have. But aside from this one, there's also one thing which I would like to talk about, then we'll move on, which is the quartile ranking, which is the Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. So generally, the this is an indication to put journals into ranking to say, okay, this is a bit higher, this is a bit lower. So this ranking is just grouping journals into a specific rank to say, okay, journals in Q1 are a bit higher. Their style or their impact is very high because when they put all these things together, they will get to know that okay, this journal have a higher impact and is making a lot of what impact into the community or bringing a lot of productivity to the community. So they rank them based on this ones we just talked about, the SJR, the SNIP. So they will rank them based on that value they have or the impact they have over the years. So journals in Q1 represent the top journals. So if your paper is being published in a Q1 journal, you have a very good paper. It's being published. That means your paper is very good enough. But it doesn't mean that anyone who is so it follows that order: the Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. I think the last one is the Q4. So basically, that it gives you a clear view. When you go out, you see the journal and you look for the quartile ranking, and they give you. And this one too is also based on context, or because some journals have a lot of what focus which they are moving with. Some can be on economic. The same journal can be on economics. It's also looking at auditing. It's looking at something. So maybe in economics they have their Q1 in economics. So they are producing papers or bringing good papers from economic field. So there will be Q1 in economics. So it depends also on the context or the field which they are looking at in that journal. So if you're having a paper which is in economics, you can trust that, okay, this journal is Q1 in economics, so I can submit my paper to it, means that it has a higher impact. Because the aim of you writing is to make impact, is not to just have a lot of papers. No, our basically, the aim of writing papers is to make a good impact in the community. So someone can have only one paper and it will make very good impact. It's better than someone who has 20 papers and has not make any impact. So if you are writing, be conscious of the quality of your paper and how impactful it will be. That's also one thing. But when you are writing as a young researcher, it's okay to try from the beginning before you get to the top there where you can. Don't aim at always to say, I want to be at the top. I want to be. If you do that, you will struggle a lot because sometimes it's so difficult to get there instantly. You must start from the smallest place, then you move up. Yes. Any questions so far before we move to the next thing or any contribution? Any other? Sorry. Any question? Any contribution? Okay, no question, no contribution. Let's move on to the next thing. Okay, so there are also AI
I
powered.
think okay.
Okay, you can go ahead. You can go ahead.
Oh, I think what I wanted to say, you might have been you meant okay, anyway. Basically, yes, you have explained all, but in here in China, basically Scopus, Elsevier, and all those things, they have a particular thing they look out for. You may see some people, depending upon your area,
Mm,
for the sciences. For the sciences, your supervisor may tell you your work must be in SSCI,
yeah.
your SCIE
Mm,
or SSCI or ESCI. So basically, what they are trying to say is that social science citation index, like what you just described. Basically, it's based on the quality of that particular journal. When you go to the journal matrix, you may see that okay, maybe this paper is indexed. It's indexed mean like it is accepted in this society called SSCI. So when you go some of the journal, you see that okay, it's an SSCI journal or it's not, or ESCI journal or it's just SCI journal. So basically, most of the professors here they look out for okay, what is the SSCI? Is it an SSCI? Is it Q1, Q2, Q3? Depend. Some schools basically they are looking for SSCI journal Q1, some Q2. Your supervisor may say, okay, your paper must be in SSCI Q1 journal. So the criteria for China in regards to the PhD is something that is very high, depending upon the school in which you are, because
mm,
they are requesting for SSCI Q1 journal,
mm,
and some to maybe okay Q2 will be fine or Q3. The Qs depend upon the quality of the paper and also the journal in which you are publishing it.
mm,
Back in Ghana, we have some journal we call predatory journals.
yeah.
So those journals you submit today, maybe a week's time, they send you an invoice and say, okay, paper is accepted and they are willing to publish. So those papers we don't regard them. Even when it comes to citation and so on. Even here there are some papers you see that they publish in a particular area. It's not every paper that you ought to sign. You
Mm,
ought to cite, sorry. Because the when you go to the journal, look at sometimes take some time to look at the editors. The editors and the board
mm,
also give you a sign of the caliber of the journal that is actually composed of. Because it sometimes it's very disheartening. Now you spend your time writing this quality work and you send it and you see some most of those papers, most of those journals, you see, they don't pay attention to grammar, they don't pay attention to quality in terms of structuring, they don't
mm,
pay attention to some of the basic things. So you look at the paper and say, this paper is also published and you're also citing. For me, for example, if I'm vetting and I see some journals that you cited, definitely I will not continue. I will definitely write back that
mm,
no, this particular paper should be taken off. But I'm not saying I should start from the high quality point, but you can start from somewhere.
yeah.
And I always say that okay, whatever you have, try. When it comes to writing, I would advise that before you start drafting your manuscript, have a particular journal in mind. Because that will give you how you structure your write out.
Mm,
Because how you can draft the manuscript Now that okay, you go maybe the journal is requesting 8,000 words or 5,000 words, and you have 13,000 words. How are you going to structure such a thing? So sometimes our advice is that okay, you have some journals in mind that you a possible journal, potential journal you might want to submit to in mind before you start writing your manuscript, because it guides you, it helps you to know that you have to summarize your work, you have to let some things out, you have to
Mm,
put in something. So basically that will help you in writer, because it's very disheartening and very discouraging that you spend time, you wrote the manuscript, and the journal you want to submit, the journal said it has to be 7,000 words or 8,000 words, and your paper is 10,000.
mm,
Summarizing is something that is very, very difficult. So when you
mm,
know from beginning, you know how to come with that. And the other time, Bruce also hammered on that you see, basically, you have to look, when you have the journal, you might go and look at some of the papers recently published.
mm,
And if possible, this is a clue. If possible, try to cite some papers from that particular journal.
mm.
And it's something that also helped. So that is what I want to add. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Mauli. Yeah, that was a powerful contribution to add up to what we are just looking at. Yeah, someone has this. Can you go over the site score? Yes, it's basically the metrics that measure or averagely give the average year citation of that what journal. So on an average yearly, what has been the impact of that journal? So that is what the site score gives you. I hope we have answered you. And thank you so much, Doc, again, once again. That was a deep sharing. Yes, all what Doc have shared is very good, and you must consider all of them step by step, step by step, step by step. You must, at least when you're looking out for the journal, you must do that. Okay, now we want to, the Scopo I. I don't understand. Please, if you can rewrite your question again. But before that, let's keep moving on and look at some of the tools that we can use to find our uh, journals, or when you have your paper ready, the first step to find what journal do I even have to look at before I consider all the matrices, or before, like how Doc have shared now, that you must look at all the journal first before. There are these AI powered tools which can help you to find a journal. The links are here, but I don't know how you can find them, but I'm pretty much sure I can share them in the chat box maybe later on. But let me highlight them so that you see them. This link can take you to a page, and that's what we'll be doing the practical section with. Maybe after we go to other class, so we can see how we go about this. This site, these links will take you to a site where you just have to paste either your title or the keywords in your work, or the abstract of your work, and it will bring out journals for you to look at or consider before you finally submit your journal. So basically, these tools are there. They are out there. You can look out for them, and it will also help you to make a decision on the kind of journal you want to submit to. Yes, it's very good, and you can go through. Yes, it will just suggest journals to you to say, okay, yeah, with your abstract or with your keywords, we think this journal will be suitable for you, or with your title, we think this journal can be suitable for you too. So what we mostly look at for is that your paper must be best fit into a journal. When best fits inside, trust me, you are good to go that your paper will be what accepted and be published by that journal. So this tools helps you to find journal. It's not always sure, or it's not always accurate, but I think on an average, it will give you most of the journals that will be more best and suitable for your paper. Yes, I've tried them, and I think they are very. I've tried few of them. They are very good. Okay, without wasting my time, we'll go back to the. We'll go to the next section, the next part of the class, which is what is the difference between open access and subscription mode? Because sometimes when you want to submit, it will tell you this journal is only solely for open access. This journal is solely for subscription based. What does it mean? What do I have to consider when I'm submitting my journal to all these people? So let's move on. Yes. So basically, these are some of the models, or they are the yes, the models or publishing models that are there. I think the basic one or the traditional one we know is the subscription one, where when you submit your journal to you submit your article to a journal which is its publishing mode is on subscription base. It simply means that you are not going to pay any money for the publication fee, and only the people who can access your paper or download it will be only people who have subscribed to that journal or who have subscribed to their yes to the journal, that they'll be able to have access to it, download it for free. And it's immediately they when you publish they release it immediately to those who have subscribed to them. They have subscribed to them. So it's best for people who have written their paper, they don't have funding to publish in the open access where everybody can access. But in the open access, we have different kinds of open access, which I've put there. We have the golden open access, we have the green open access, and we have the diamond or the platinum open access. So what does each of them also mean when you are to publish there or consider them as well? So the golden one is the always, we know gold is gold, so it's always the top one or the best one or the high one. And that one you must pay for it, you the author or your institution, because some of the universities in China here, they give you funding for your research, and you can go into that funding to pay, or from the institution. So we call it the APC, which is the publishing fee. Yes, you can access that fund and use to, and it is free for everyone. Everyone out there can easily access your paper and download it for free. When you publish in a golden open access, it means that your paper can be easily accessed by everyone who is online, who just puts in your title or put in your keywords or put in the abstract of your work. They can easily find your work and download it freely without any restriction. So that is how the open access is like, the golden open access. Then the green open access. This one, there's no fee, but it also comes with, how will I say it? It's being published on subscription, but it's also being allowed to be accessed over a certain period of time. So they'll put embargo on it. You pay some money to say, okay, we'll keep this paper to subscribers for maybe 2 years. After 2 years, we'll allow it to be able to be released over to the public where everybody can be accessed it freely. So they put embargo on it, they keep it for a certain period of time, but you don't pay the full. So this one is different from the golden access. You may pay for all the publication fee, the APC, you pay for everything. But this one, maybe you don't have the full amount. You discuss with the journal to say, okay, this is the amount I can afford. Is it possible that we do it in a green open, if only they have that kind of model of publication? So this is also one thing you must look out for before you decide to say, okay, I'm going to send my paper to. Don't just send because you know these options are there. If the journal don't have such options and you submit, that means they're not going to consider that options for you. So you must check out for them. Then the diamond or the platinum open access. This one to your institution or your institution have subscribed to it, and which you are not going to pay anything, and is going to be free. So your institution, some university have subscribed to some journals that you pay, and they will make it open access because the institution or your society has been subscribed to it. They have been put on it. Yes, and it also goes out immediately upon immediately they publish it. It's released to the public to access it freely. Everyone can also access it on that aspect when your institution or your society is on this diamond or platinum or open access. So if your university has this privilege, is good. Or in some journals, you can try to make use of them because you will not pay anything. It will be free for you to publish inside this thing. This also comes with rights and visibility. So when you are considering all this thing, the main goal of rewriting is to make the paper to be visible and make a lot of impact out there. So if you want to choose the kind of model you are publishing, it's very important to also consider that because it will help your paper. If someone publishing golden access and you publishing subscription, traditional subscription, the two, you can testify that sometimes when you want to download the paper and you are finding it so difficult to download, you just ignore it. And maybe the paper has something you are looking out for, you want to cite that paper, but because you are not able to access it, it becomes so difficult for you. But Nonetheless, it's also a privilege for people who don't have the funding to say, okay, yes, we can also publish. We have an idea. It's also good because over some time they may allow it that I know some journals over some certain period of time, or maybe 10 years or 15 years, or they make it freely to the public to access it and download it wherever they are. Yeah, so basically, these are some of the things you must consider for open subscription and the subscription base. Either you are choosing open access or the subscription base. Yes, I just placed a few costs here so that we can look at it. Does not mean that this is the fixed cost, but uh, averagely or basically, it's within this range where you can find in each field how the APC cost or the funding for publishing look like. So in medical or life science, it's roughly some of the journals are roughly around $2,000 to $500. This is just a. I'm not saying it's within. Some can be lower than this. It's just an estimation I'm giving here. So please, each journal and how they are fee is and how they put their structures. But it's basically be within this range. And that of physical science is within 1,500 to $3,000. Some can be also be cheaper because some journals also give waiving fee to developing countries like Ghana, other countries, our country as well. So you can look out for all those things because some journals will say, okay, we are giving waiving fee, a percentage of maybe 70% waiving fee for developing country, or they even state some specific country to say we give waiving, fully waiving, even though they are open access, they'll waive it out because you are from that country. So you benefit from all those things. So it's important to you go through all this process, read them, get to know the journal very well before you submit, so that you can benefit from all these things. Yeah. So I don't know if there's any question or any. I think basically for the subscription base, these are some of the few things I would like to share. I don't know. Let me see. Yes, yes. Yes, also, yes, Dr. Mauli talked about this. Let me talk about this also before we go into questions. And the predictive journals, it's very important that we know about this and we become so conscious of it. Some of them, I think Dr. Mauli explained perfectly well. They publish so quick. They tell you, oh, we'll publish your journal, we'll publish your article for you within just 1 week or 2 weeks. It will get done, and they will take a lot of money from you. Some of them will keep sending you emails, and surprisingly, the emails will land up in your spam. Most of their emails will just be in your spam, and you must be conscious of those journals because uh, if you don't look out for them well, you have a good work done, then you end up. I know some of us we are in haste to publish. We are eager to publish. We want to get our paper leave so that we can have peace of mind. But the aim is to make impact, not just to have your paper published and not getting anywhere. And even as Doc have said, someone cannot cite your paper because of the kind of journal you have published. Meanwhile, the paper has a good information, it has good ideas, but because of the journal you have published in, people cannot cite it and to make the impact which is requested to do. So you must check first. You must check the indexing. I think Doc also talked about the indexing. What kind of indexing is this journal placing? Is it in the Scopus? In China here, as I said, yes, most of the professors are looking for the SCI journal or the SCIE, or they look out for these specific journals which has this kind of indexing. It means that they can find the journal in this database, Web of Science, the DOJ, the PubMed, all of these ones are the database which when you go there, you can find your paper there. But if you are submitting to a journal which is not able to put their papers or their research into such a database, it becomes so hard because the credibility of that paper is not that good. And you must consider all these things. And one way you can also verify is go to your school library to find out if this journal is being funded, or your school library can access this one, because most of the schools have make subscription to this database and they can have access to them. So if you cannot be found there, then it means that you must be conscious of that journal. Yeah. Any question, any contribution, any add up before we move on to probably the last thing we'll be talking about for this class? Any question? Any add up? Yeah, Dr. Augustine, I will humbly request if your question can come back again. The Scopus I didn't get that clear. Okay, yeah, Dr. Mali have raised his hand. You can have the mic, Doctor.
Yes, thank you. I had wanted to add a lot, but it's been recorded because I don't want to spoil someone's business. So maybe when we go off record, I will share some few
Okay,
thoughts on some of the things. How to. Thank you.
okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doc. Uh, any other question or any other contribution? If you explain the scope, I think it's just a database where they keep all your, when you publish and the journal has an index in there. It's a database where your paper can be found. When someone opens a Scopus database, he can find your paper. So it's basically a database. And such database to accept papers into that place, they will vet the paper, make sure. So most journal who has access to such database must be conscious that they follow all the guidelines of such a database. Because if they don't follow, that means the paper will be rejected and will not be placed into the database. So it's basically a database for a scholarly writing, which will be kept there. That anyone who goes into such a database can find whatever is there is a trusted database. Yes, let me put it that way, a trusted database where papers which are published in journals who have their indexing in that you can access those papers through that database. Mm. Yes, we have looked at the Web of Science. We have looked at the PubMed. We have looked at the SCI. We have looked at yes, this ones here. I think let me highlight them for you to see. Uh, yes, this ones. Okay. So yes, you can. These are some of the database you can check out for. Mm. So before you submit, check before you submit. Think about it. Look, check to go investigate the journal first before you do any move. Mm-hmm. Mm. Yeah, thank you so much. Doc also mentioned of we have to look at the editors, check the credibilities of some of the editors before we make the move. It's very important. Do all that. There's more to say after we go offline to do our practical section. Yes, we'll talk more about this better. But let me talk about the last thing, then we'll probably be ending our recording. Yes, when you want to submit to a journal, some of the journals request some few things which must be added to the journal, which we call the submission work package. So what are some of the things they look out for? I've not been able to put all of them here, but I strongly believe the ones here will be so helpful for you. Yes, so some of them will ask you for a cover letter. And what does that cover letter entails, or what does it have to be? Is simply telling you that explain to us or tell us as an editor why your paper is having or is important that we accept it in our journal. I think when you take this very serious and put it in a good structure, it will help that your paper will be accepted very quickly because some of the editors they'll just read your cover letter and know, okay, this paper what we looking at it or considering it. When they read out your cover letter, they can say, oh, this paper doesn't work it, and they'll just return it straight away from the editor's desk without considering it to go further for peer review. So you must be intentional about writing this your cover letter. You must craft it very well. And I've put some things which you can put here for your cover letter which basically there are a few things you can look out for when you are writing your cover letter. Your first paragraph, which is the opening, state the submission type or title and then confirm all the author's approval that, okay, yes, we are to submit this and all that, that this is the title and we are happy to, yes, we are, all the authors have approved that we. Then the second one, context. What gap does your research address and why now? Yeah, so in your second paragraph, you put this there. What gap is this trying to address? This paper I'm submitting to you, what gap is this trying to? And then third thing, keep findings, most important result, and they are significant. The word here is the most important, not all your findings, the most important ones. You just report on that one. You keep them there, and they are significant. Very important, very important. And the fifth statement, which is the next paragraph, you have to consider why this specific journal. Why do you think this journal is good for your paper? So when you're writing your cover letter, you put this thing inside and confirm the originality, no conference of no conflict of what interest, and suggested what review. Sometimes some journals give you the opportunity to suggest reviewers which will look at your paper. We'll come back to that and we'll discuss how to select a reviewer when the journal gives you the opportunity to do that. Yeah, so these are some of the things you must consider when you are writing. When you are writing your cover letter, it must be detailed in this form. It will help you that when the editor, because that's the first thing the editor will read, because he can't read all your paper instantly. But with a cover letter, it gives him or her a pure idea or a full idea about what you are submitting, and that will motivate or encourage the editor to go ahead to look at your main paper. So your cover letter is just like what you are using to buy the attention of the editor, and it must be well structured. It must be well structured. It must be well structured. Yes. So the scope, the alignment, you explain why that. You also find the advancement, why this, the importance of your research article, and the novelty of it. You state that in it and make it clear. Some people just write, they just copy their abstract and put it there and say that's the cover letter. That's one thing you must not do, because when you do that, you are not being you are not communicating enough or convincing enough to the editor to say this is a paper which might be. They just copy their abstract and paste it and title it cover letter and submit. No, it is not good. Generic letters send to multiple journals. They just keep sending to the same letter they have. They keep sending it to all the journals. Please don't do that. Yes, the journals may have the same aim or scope with you, but at least they will have something different. Each journal has a unique thing which you can focus on. So you can look out for those things. Because when some people can even forget not to change the journal name they state in the letter, the cover letter, and they submit the same thing to the next journal. So when you do that, trust me, you have just make your paper to say that it doesn't work but accepting. Because if you have submitted to journal A and they have rejected it and you are bringing it back to journal B, you are using the same cover letter which you have not changed the name in the cover letter which is journal A, and journal B editor sees that I'm in journal B, but you are submitting a cover letter which contains a name of journal A. It means that your paper doesn't worth it. What is the credibility of your paper now? So it's very important. Let's do that. And don't exaggerate your significance. Be real with it. Be state what the significance is. Be specific and don't exaggerate it. And forget not to mention why this specific journal. Yeah, they don't tell us why. Okay, they don't write and add to it. Okay, this journal, the reason I want my paper to be submitted in this journal is this. You must state that, because it gives it makes them know that indeed you have read about them. As Doc have said, it also helps them when you do that and they find out that, oh, you have cited papers from their journal. It's also motivate them to say, this person has been following us for a long time, and we need to give them the chance. Sometimes the reviewers will give you comments because they want the paper to be submitted, to be accepted. They will even give you better comment to better the paper when it is not even good enough. They will tell you how to go about it to better it well so that it can be accepted in the journal and they will publish it for you. So very important, very important. Don't forget that a specific the reason why you are choosing that journal. Okay. Yes, I'm coming. Let me move to the next slide. Are we together? Are we together? Are we together? I want to be sure that we are together. If you are together, send yes in the chat box so that. Okay. Yes. Yes. We are together. Yes. Before you finally submit, you should be sure. I think this is the last slide of today's class. You should be sure. You should check all your. You should check the list and be sure that everything is in place. Yes, you must check the main manuscript. Follow the journal's formatting guidelines exactly. So after doing all this search, doing everything, the checklist must be well ticked before you finally click on the submission button to give your paper to this journal or whoever you're submitting to. So you must first look at the formatting style, which Professor Bruce is teaching us very well on that aspect, how to format the journal to your paper to suit the journal. And if you are here, I'm still recommending you to take that class. Also look at their title format. How do they format their title? So you check all those things. The abstract, some of them will tell you, okay, your abstract must be 100 words, it must be. So you must consider all those things in like what Dr. Mauli said, that you consider the amount of words they want before you should choose the journal first before you even start writing, so that it gives you an upper hand on what specific thing you must do. So you consider. Some of them will tell you, okay, we want only 150 abstract, and we want only 4 keywords or 7 keywords or 6 keywords. So each journal and their thing, and also some of them will tell you we only want 1 page of cover letter. So you must look all this. So these are some of the checklists you must look at for the formatting, the title, the abstract, the cover letter, then the figures formatting and the resolution. And Professor Bruce has also taught us how to maintain a good resolution in our Word document, so that your figures resolution will not be changed or be blurred, that it will not have a good quality. If you have not attended class, please, you can visit the YouTube channel and consider going through that class again, which is what advanced Microsoft Office. So you must go there and look at that. He did a very good job on that aspect, how to keep your Word documents in a form where you keep your image inside or your figures inside the Word document. It will still maintain a good resolution. Yes, and the captions. Yes, you must also look at the captions. How do they caption it? The caption of the figures and everything. The color changes, all these things. The supplementary data. Are they requesting for a supplementary data? Are they asking you that the data you use for your work you should be submitted? You should also look at it and keep them in order, so that you don't look at it. Now, I said I will talk about the suggested reviewers. So some of the journals will ask you to suggest reviewers. This is a trap to you, and you should be very conscious of this, because you think they have asked you to suggest a reviewers. You just, okay, I know a professor who is an editor here, I'll suggest them. No, don't do that. When you do that, when you choose people who are already co-authors of your papers, or who are in the same institute with your paper, your institution, it becomes so hard that they are a bit conflicts of what interest in it. So one, choose expert which you have cited in your paper. Yes, choose expert which you have cited in your papers. So if you have seen an expert in your paper, you can choose those which you have cited them in your paper which you are submitting. Choose those ones. They are very good. And choose researchers from different institutions, not on the same institution with you. Because my professor is close to one of the professors in my institution, and I know he's a good reviewer, because they are asking me to suggest a reviewer, I'll just put his name and don't do that. Because when you do that, you are giving a signal to the journal that there's a bit of, because they will surely know that you and the person you are suggesting are from the same institution, and it is not advisable. It is not advisable. It's not advisable. It's not advisable. Yes, those are some of the things you must consider. Then I think basically, yes, you must look at the ethical and the compliances. Make sure you don't have conflicts of interest. You disclose that ethical approval statements, then clinical trace or registration of numbers, data availability statements. You consider all those ones. Make sure you have ticked them rightly according to what you have done before getting your research article. And very important. Yes, thank you so much. So before you submit, yes, last thing before I will ask for questions and contribute. Proofread all your documents. Don't be in haste to just submit. Proofread them. Verify all the author's contact. Make sure their names are spelled rightly. Because sometimes when you finish and they are accept the paper, you want to make these changes. Or when you just submit and you want to do changes to these things, it's very hard. You will go through a lot of processes to do that. And so you must be conscious of them, especially the author's information. You should be sure that you verify everything. Because if you make spelling mistake and you come to notice that and you want to correct that mistake because that you have not put the right name of the author there, sometimes it may cost you a lot. You must go through a lot of it will even delay the publication process of your paper. So you should check that very well. You don't want your paper to be accepted whilst it is holding on because there was a little mistake you didn't pay attention to address before submitting. So you should check all those things and check all references complete. You make sure that all your references are complete. There's no placeholders in your work. They are all taken out. You have make the right references and your figures quality. Check them well before you finally click on the submit button. Yes, thank you so much. And I'm so happy. Any question, any contribution, then we'll go offline and do some few practice. Then we'll bring the class to an end. Any question, any contribution? Okay, yes, Dr. Mauli, you can have the mic.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think you have done justice to all that is required. But just to add, the the template or the other accompanying document that you have to add to your manuscript before submitting. Please kindly pay attention to those things very well. The title page, as he has explained, you must follow what the journal is requesting to be on a title page. And when they say anonymous manuscript, some journal they require that the manuscript should be in anonymous form. What that basically means is that you remove all author's information, the author's name and the affiliations, all from the manuscript on top of the manuscript, and just start your manuscript from the abstract down to the last page. So without the author's information, or when they say okay, they are doing double, some journals will say double blind. They are doing double blind review. So that means that nothing related to the artist should be found in your anonymous manuscript, because it link maybe the school, or you are saying something that will link the artist to that particular manuscript. Those things, when they say double blind review, just you have to make sure that you pay attention to those ones. And the conflict of interest, you must declare, as he has said, as the Jore has said, you must declare the conflict of interest. Your cover letter he has eloquently explained that. Then the declaration and highlight. Some journals will say in 80 or not more than 80 words, provide highlights of your paper. And those highlights are very key determinant for the editor to make a decision whether to proceed to take your paper to a review level, or that will even actually make the editor make the first point decision that okay, this particular journal or this particular work fit for my journal, or is very interesting to be accepted into my work. Pay attention to the number of words. Some will say 50, some say 80, but averagely some is just it ranges from 40 to 80. I'm yet to see one that talks about 100. No, it's always less than 100, but as I said, depend upon the journal you are submitting it to. Pay attention to all those details and take your time to read through. Some of us, basically some of us, grammatical error pulls us off. English is not our language. English is not anyone's mother tongue, but we try our best to. Yeah, we try our best. And Prof. Bruce has actually eloquently made us understand and show us how to make those things very clear. And when you are doing your editing, it actually helps you to do those particular things. And try as much as possible, because submitting is also a process on its own. Once you've submitted one to a particular journal, you become used to, and with time you become used to some of the requirement. And how he said, don't let journal A issues be found in your cover letter to journal B. And it's very, very disheartening. Your paper may be very, very good, but that alone may just let the editor just say, desktop, no, this thing should go back. We've not been up to a day. We just submit maybe 2 o'clock. By 5 o'clock, you see a mail in your message. And general rejection, to be honest with you, don't say that, oh, you are not good, or no. It's part of the process. I call it the long suffering of the fruit of the spirit element of research. So you have to take your time. It's normal. Some of the things you feel like, oh, this paper should go to biology. Oh no. But the desktop is what actually is very, very annoying. You just, I mean, that means you've not taken your time to go through all that he has listed or explained to us. So let's pay attention to those very ones. The rest we'll discuss them later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Molly, for that powerful contribution. Yeah, the long suffering. Yes, sometimes you get disappointed, but it's part of the process. Don't feel like your paper is no good. No, it's part of the process. It makes you improve better on your paper to make it better. We said earlier on that don't take reviewers as what personal what allegations or personal. Don't take them personal. Don't be emotional about it. It's part of the process. You must be aware. Yes. Okay. Any contribution, any suggestion before we go offline for today's class? Okay. Thank you so much. I'll end the recording for today's class. So today's class, let me go over what we just looked at before we end the recording. Yes. So today's class, basically, we look at the three things to consider before choosing our final destination for our research articles. We said they're choosing the right journal, and we look at how to choose if the journal align with their aim or their aim and their scope align with your what you have put down. You must check out for those things first. They also look at the matrices of the journal, and we also share some few tools where you can be able to use to find journals which will probably be or yes probably be aligned with that. They also consider looking at the open access and the subscription mode. Where we say the open access has different types of open access. We look at the golden, the green, and the platinum open access. And the subscription mode is the traditional way, which is basically for those who don't have the funding to pay for the open access. And I think it's the good way to go. So you can look at for that. And also, we look at the submission packages where we say we have to have the cover page. And as Dr. Mauli also said rightly away that some journals also request for highlights, and those are also part of it. Those are the packages which comes together to make your submission complete. Thank you very much for being part of today's class, and it's a privilege to learn from each one of you and understand better about these things. Yes.